I want to start this morning by first introducing myself, Jessie Ryan. I am the Vice President of the Sacramento City Unified School District Board of Education. I am also a very proud parent of a child in Sacramento City Unified School District and represent one of the poorest areas in all of Sac City Unified. I want to thank the principal here at Luther Burbank, Jim Peterson. Many of you know that in the face of all of the uncertainty, we have had incredible leadership from principal leaders like Jim Peterson and educators across the district. And I am so proud of the efforts you've undertaken here at Luther Burbank. So before I start my remarks, I just want to acknowledge a few things. We are going to move this through quite quickly. We are very honored today, as so much of this work has been done in partnership, to have several elected officials here who represent entities that have been key to moving this work forward. I'm proud to have Assembly Member Jim Cooper with us this morning. I'm also proud to have our City Council lead, City Council Member Eric Guerra, with us this morning. We have representatives from Assembly Member McCarty's office. I'm told that County Supervisor Patrick Kennedy will be here very shortly. And of course, probably most important, in addition to these elected representatives, are the educators and students who are joining us because they understand the magnitude of the action around Safe Haven School District and the importance of their voice in seeing this work forward. I am blessed to live in a school district that's rich in culture and diversity, a district in which educators and community work tirelessly together to ensure that a student's race, their income level, their religious beliefs, their gender or sexual identity, and immigration status don't determine their destiny. Like many, my heart broke when my first grader came home from school reporting that her friends were in pain, experiencing increased bullying following the presidential elections, and threatened by possible deportation. All children deserve the opportunity to come to school and learn in an environment free from fear. And it became clear that these unprecedented times called for immediate action. And so on December 8th, our school district was among the first in the state of California to unanimously pass a resolution to become a Safe Haven school district. That designation sent a strong message to our students and families that we would do everything in our powers to protect them. Our Safe Haven policy was just the beginning of our efforts to acknowledge the fear that kids and families were experiencing across Sacramento and across the state and country as a whole. Today, amidst continued concerns and federal action, we are standing with our children and families and launching a Safe Haven campaign. A campaign to ensure that undocumented students and parents in the school district understand their rights and know that Sac City will do everything in our power to protect them and ensure that they feel welcomed. We know that our strength lies in our diversity. It should be celebrated, not denigrated. 48 languages are spoken in our schools. Of the 43,000 students enrolled in our school district, almost 35,000 students just like my children, are students of color. We believe that as many as 1 in 5 students will either be directly or indirectly impacted by the hard-line deportation enforcement policies adopted by the president. And this is unacceptable. Furthermore, stories in the news about parents who are being deported have sent a shockwave of fear throughout our district. Just last week, a young girl came to our school board meeting and expressed the concerns she had for her peers. Concerns that those peers and their parents were threatened with deportation. While we cannot stop the federal government from enacting and enforcing immigration policies, we can and we must show our students and families that when it comes to their protection and safety, Sacramento City Unified School District stands with them unequivocally in these uncertain times. Our students can't learn in an environment of fear. We hope that by launching this campaign, we will educate and empower our students, our teachers, and our families to know their rights and make sure that they feel welcome and included at each and every one of our schools. We are also asking that students, educators, parents, and community members join us in signing a pledge to support all students through these uncertain times, a pledge and campaign to support and protect the safety of their legal rights. The message is clear. All students are welcome here. I would now like to acknowledge my colleague, board member Mai Vang, who has a deeply personal story and connection to this issue.
Hi, my name is Mai Vang, and I represent Area 5, the Florin and Meadowview area on the Sacramento City Unified School Board. For me, the Safe Haven campaign is a very personal one. My parents came to this country decades ago as a refugee. Like many of the immigrant families that we are seeking to protect today, my parents came here fleeing an unsafe environment in need of opportunities that were not possible in their homeland. When my mother arrived as a refugee, she went to school right here at Luther Burbank High. My mother did not speak English. My father also did not speak English. He went to McClatchy High School. All my parents wanted when they arrived was a better life, to be free, to be able to live up to their full potential. That is no different than what parents of many undocumented students in our district want for their kids. However, despite my parents' need and eagerness to be an American, there were many who felt that they did not belong here. My parents came here in the 1980s as refugees at a time when most Americans, 62%, opposed their resettlement. Rather than embrace my parents, there were people that said harmful and hateful things to push my parents out of this country. But Mom and Dad persevered. They did not let hateful rhetoric push them out. Today I stand before you as a daughter of Hmong refugees, a proud product of public education from this district, and now a member of Sacramento City Unified School Board. I'm working hard every day to make sure our schools are safer and that our city is a better place for everyone to live in. So when I turn on the TV and I see this hateful rhetoric toward immigrants that my father and mother faced when they came to this country, I remember the stories that Mom and Dad would share with me, how they got through those tough times, of how Sacramento City Unified School District welcomed them, embraced them in the classroom. My parents will always remember the teachers and staff who stood by their side when they had very little hope. That is why this Safe Haven campaign is so important to me. Because just like my mom and dad, there are children in the school district today who need to hear from us that we have their back. We will not walk away from our kids and families during this time of need. We will not tolerate speech that degrades, dehumanizes, and belittle our students and families, and we will stand together, united as a district, as a city, as a community, for our students, and show them, just like we have before, that our schools welcome everyone, regardless of their race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or immigration status. Thank you to everyone who's joining us today for our campaign and sending a strong message across Sacramento, California, and this nation that we stand with our students and that they belong. That here at Sac City Unified School District, we look forward to working with you in the next weeks, months, and years ahead to provide a safe haven for our students and their families. Next, I would like to introduce Superintendent Jose Bonda.
Thank you, Board Member Vang, and welcome everyone. My name is Jose Bonda. I'm Superintendent for Sacramento City Unified School District, and as our Vice President Ryan pointed out, this campaign is about showing our students and our families that when it comes to protection, safety, and legal rights, the Sacramento City Unified School District stands with them. I am going to go over the specifics of what we're doing with this campaign. First, we're going to educate our students and their families about their rights by opening up our facilities to legal professionals who can assist them. We have an event scheduled on April the 22nd at the Cerna Center from 10 a.m. to noon with the Jewish Latino Coalition. This is one of many events, many that will follow and will be announced on the Safe Haven page on our school district website. We're now reaching out to nonprofits and legal professionals who can provide services in the classrooms as well as after school hours. Second, we're going to distribute tens of thousands of Know Your Rights cards in Spanish, English, and Hmong so that our families are informed of what they can do to protect themselves if Immigration and Customs Enforcement comes to their door. We have provided examples of those here on the easels. Third, we're going to do lots and lots of publicity to send a strong message that this is a school district for all students, where all students are welcome. We're going to hang a banner or a lawn sign in front of every one of our campuses that looks just like the ones that are here behind me. We're going to distribute thousands of pledge cards asking everyone in our school district and in this community to pledge to protect the safety and the rights of all of our students. We will be collecting these pledge cards at all of our campuses, or they can be dropped off at the Cerna district headquarters. In just a few minutes, all of us on stage will be the first to sign the giant pledge card you see here next to me on the stage. Finally, we're going to utilize social media to film and distribute a series of videos and promotional ads featuring teachers, students, parents, and staff in our district, who will all reinforce one common theme, and that is that all students are welcome at our schools, and that all undocumented students play a vital and a valuable role in the everyday life on our campuses, and that they are the very fabric of our school district. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Superintendent Bonda, and thank you, Board Member Myvang. I think Board Member Myvang represents the very best of Sacramento City Unified School District. She is a Sac City success story, and each and every one of our Sacramento City students deserve that same opportunity to succeed. I am very proud to share that our council member Eric Guerra has appointed as the district liaison on his task force to help carry out this work. Next, we're going to hear from Assembly Member Jim Cooper, who will share a bit about how he's supporting our Safe Haven School District campaign.
Good morning. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today, and really thank the Sac City Unified School District and their Board of Directors and Superintendent for getting out in front of this important issue. It's extremely important. I'm Jim Cooper. I'm the Assembly Member for the 9th Assembly District. This is my school. It's in my area, one of the most diverse areas in our state, if not Sacramento. I'm proud to stand here with our students, our parents, our teachers, and all of you to acknowledge our strength and diversity and reject intolerance, hate speech, and anti-immigrant hysteria. Today I'm proud to be here to stand up for you and defend the students' right to learn in a safe, welcoming environment free of fear-mongering. Our schools must be places where we promote tolerance, inclusion, and acceptance, not hate, fear, or intolerance. Today, I commit to you that you have an ally that will fight to ensure the success of all of our students. I look around at students in the back of this classroom, and their only concern should be getting good grades, making friends, and prom, not about being deported. And that's an important issue. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of parents and students are afraid to come to school. And that is not the right thing. We want students in classrooms learning, not at home for fear of being deported. And that's an important issue. And the district is taking the lead in getting information out there to give parents the correct information and not the fear-mongering. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on right now and misinformation. So I'm proud that the superintendent's board has the courage to get involved and really make a stance. Our diversity is our strength. I came to the legislature after spending 3 decades in law enforcement, and I've seen firsthand the tremendous value that immigrants bring to our communities. Citizens should not be scared. That's the number one thing, and knowledge is power. And having this press conference today is putting out knowledge to our community and our parents and our children that it is okay to come to school. School is a safe haven. I'm proud to be here, and I couldn't be happy to stand with a better crowd of people. So I want to thank the school district and everyone for being involved. And it's important. This is an important day and the first for this school district. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Cooper. We so deeply appreciate your leadership. While we don't have Assemblymember McCarty with us or County Supervisor Patrick Kennedy, it is very important to mention that they have both been key allies in this effort. And I now have the pleasure of introducing our council liaison, the city council member who has been so brave in addressing these issues head-on, Councilmember Eric Guerra.
Alex is my brother, so close. Well, no, it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the city of Sacramento. My council district also encompasses a big chunk of refugees and immigrants throughout the city of Sacramento. And the truth is that our city's history is based on immigrants and refugees. Our city's history comes from the experience of people looking for a better life. And when we have removed impediments for folks to be part of that history, that's when Sacramento has succeeded. We've seen it from every type of immigrant and refugee, down to John Augustus Sutter, who was a refugee, an immigrant himself, down to all of our Chinese immigrants, our Japanese immigrants, our Latino Americans. And if we talk about the history of Sacramento protecting immigrants in the 80s, our city status recognized the refugee crisis that was happening in Central America and accepted those immigrants here and said, we will help you in your time of need. We are in that place today. So our policy will continue to be that we will not judge a person or a family by their immigration status. And we are here to support the school district in their effort to ensure that every family who is an immigrant or refugee is also not living in fear in the city of Sacramento. When you are here as a resident of Sacramento, whether you're an immigrant or refugee, you are our neighbors. When you're a student here, you are our classmate. When you are on the football team, you are our teammate. You are a resident of Sacramento, you are a Sacramentan. And we want to make sure that every Sacramentan does not live in fear. And so the city of Sacramento has taken on the Safe Haven Task Force to update our policies, to update our resolution, and to also support our local agencies like the Sacramento Unified School District, and all of the also supporting entities like our synagogues and churches that are here to support our students. Para nuestra comunidad, ahí estamos aquí para apoyarlos. La ciudad de Sacramento tiene la historia de inmigrantes y de apoyando a esas personas en refugio. Vamos aquí para apoyar a nuestros estudiantes, nuestras familias, nuestros vecinos, porque todos somos aquí miembros de la comunidad de Sacramento. We will continue this effort to ensure that every Sacramentan is not impeded to be successful, is not impeded to have the things that we true value in American values, which is if you work hard, if you are part of our community fabric, if you are a good student, you are rewarded for that strong behavior and not because of your race, religion, country of origin, or status. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Eric Guerra. As you heard, the city of Sacramento has taken strong steps to assert itself as a sanctuary city and to work in partnership with the school district as a safe haven school district. We celebrate our immigrants and what they have offered to our community and our city as a whole. At this opportunity, I have the chance to introduce our teacher, who is really a ground warrior in this effort. But I've been asked by the district before making that introduction to just remind our media partners in the room that before filming or interviewing our students, we'll have to request a waiver so that we can use their images and use their interview sound bites should you choose to conduct those interviews. So please respect their privacy. If we get waivers from them, we would love to use their voice and sentiments as well. So we have, as you know, teachers who are really the ground warriors, the most courageous individuals who are the front line with our students at our school sites across the district. I will tell you, before Sac City Unified School Board could take action, we already had teachers sitting down and crying with our students and families, helping them to journal the feelings that they were expressing, helping them to be proactive in partnering to combat this hate rhetoric. We would not be able to do the work we're doing without these incredible teachers. Teachers like Elizabeth Villanueva, who I will proudly share with you, is not just a teacher here who has been a huge champion of the Safe Haven School District effort, but she is also a former Sacramento County Office of Education Teacher of the Year. I'd like to call Elizabeth Villanueva up to the podium.
Hola, buenos días. Hola. It is a need. It is a need that we need to meet in order for any learning to happen. The fact that every day I live with my students the fear, the anxiety, and all the negative emotions that they go through. And I try to alleviate that providing services like forming a group of students who call themselves undocumented, dreamers, and more. Beyond that, we are human beings. And beyond that, as a teacher, I know that non-learning can happen when there are those negative emotions. Therefore, since October, in collaboration with another former student from Luther Burbank and with a higher level educational institute, Puente Project from Sac City College, we came together and we've been providing services to our undocumented students, the Know Your Rights cards, the red cards, bringing lawyers, bringing community members to talk to them, to alleviate, to try to provide those services. And now that our district is doing, has become a safe haven, it's just another blessing. So, es un gran honor y espero poder seguir colaborando a una dimensión más amplia, más grande, porque es la necesidad humana. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So at this time, I'm going to call the fellow speakers back up to the podium where we're going to take a few questions before signing the pledge cards that we'll be distributing across the room. But I really do just want to say, in closing the press conference before we take questions, that these are unprecedented and scary times. And it's the urgency of now, the urgency of which we act, that will demonstrate to our students and families an unwavering commitment to their safety, to promoting all of the necessary conditions so that they can come to school and learn each day. We are a district that is blessed by diversity, and it's only when we come together as allies, whether we are directly affected by this issue or we know individuals who are affected by this issue, that we can combat this hate. And what we do now will in fact determine the future of our students for decades to come. And so I am so humbled to be able to join with the incredible leaders in this room today to further Safe Haven School District. I've been emotional and teared up a few times over the course of this morning because this is absolutely a heartbreaking time, but in what we choose to do with our heartbreak and how we choose to channel our energy on behalf of our students, I truly know we can be the district that welcomes all. So if I can please have my fellow speakers come up. And I would also like to acknowledge, though he didn't speak, our former board president, Darrell Wu, current board member on the Sacramento City Unified School District Board of Education. Do we have any questions from the press before we go to our signing?
Yeah, I got a couple. You said you figured 1 in 5 would be affected. What do you base that on, and what is your criteria for being affected?
So we don't keep data on the immigration status of our students. This is from informal conversations that we've been having and looking at the demographics of our district as a whole. And when I say will be affected, either know someone who potentially is DACA or undocumented, or has in their own families someone with that status.
Okay. And then somebody could maybe describe what the legal rights actually are for a student who is here illegally as opposed to someone who is here legally and who maybe has a documented family. So what are the rights actually for a student who is here illegally?
So the rights, according to ICE policy in 2011, of our students, undocumented or otherwise, is that ICE considers school sites sensitive locations. And a student at a Sacramento City Unified School District site cannot be removed by ICE immigration officials without exigent circumstances and the explicit approval of our superintendent. I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
Have any students been, from your knowledge, any in the district, have they been deported to your knowledge?
We don't know of any students who have been deported. However, we have had an influx of families who have come to us and voluntarily disclosed that they are undocumented and have asked for services fearing deportation.
Oftentimes, students are the only English speakers in the family. How important is it for them to be able to relay this information to their family?
Oh, absolutely. So it's an incredible responsibility that our students hold. So the question that came up is, so often our students are really the first line in communicating this information to their parents. And so one of the reasons we haven't just launched this district campaign aimed at principals and teachers, but have really included language that speaks to students, and we've gone beyond just including the materials in English, but in the 5 most spoken languages in the district, is to ensure that parents and families get the information they need to truly understand their rights. That being said, I think it is a tremendous responsibility and frankly, a bit of an unfair expectation to expect our children who are already shouldering fears to be the direct line of communications with their parents. And so we as a district have to continue to foster the trust necessary so that families feel comfortable to come to the Know Your Rights events that we will be doing at school sites. We referenced the event on April 22nd that will be a district-wide event with ACLU attorneys, with the Latino Jewish Community Forum. We're hoping to have several hundred folks at those events. But you know as well as I do, we go to the place we're most comfortable. And school sites often act as one-stop community centers. And so we hope that by having those individual Know Your Rights events at school sites, we will enable parents to come and ask questions in their language of origin, have people who are culturally competent answer those questions, and directly connect them to legal services, and hopefully take a bit of the burden off our students.
What have you seen I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Go. I was just wondering, what have you seen with regard to the impact of absences based on fear, and are you able to track that?
So I can't speak as to absences or chronic absenteeism. I'm looking at our superintendent and our deputy superintendent. I think that we are going to begin to try and track that. Obviously, chronic absenteeism is a huge issue that we track anyway. Figuring out how we can directly correlate absenteeism to instances of deportation like the one we saw last weekend that received so much social media of the parent in Southern California is a bit more difficult to do. But you absolutely bring up an important point. If our children are fearful to come to school, if they begin missing school, they are missing opportunities to learn that in fact could really hold them back far beyond the absences that they're experiencing in the short term. And so we have to be able to communicate with those students that we are doing everything within our power to protect them now.
Wouldn't that have a fiscal impact on the school as well?
And that's a great point, absolutely. Chronic absenteeism has a fiscal impact, but I would argue that the fiscal impact is secondary to the moral imperative to make sure that our students can come to school every day ready to learn.
You're here.
So, Jesse, you mentioned a big influx in families coming to you seeking guidance and help. Can you in some way explain the size of that influx?
Yeah.
Quantify it?
So not just me, and I want to also give an opportunity for my board member, fellow board member, Mai Vang, to speak about this. I think, our board members tend to be pretty connected to our community and to our school sites. And so on my individual school sites alone, I've had teachers pull me aside, principals pull me aside, parents pull me aside, and even students when I go into the classroom to speak, judge events, participate in school activities. Now, it takes a lot of courage, and frankly, I would argue it takes also a high level of fear to feel compelled to approach someone and ask them for help. And so I've seen that from November through today in a way that I never saw in the 2 years prior that I served on the board, which says to me volumes, right? In addition to that, I have teachers who are expressing stories of having third graders refusing to leave their classroom to eat lunch, refusing to go to recess because they are afraid that they are going to be picked up by ICE immigration officials. I also know, my husband does a tremendous amount of community work and is Latino. We're hearing from our Latino partners in the community that, frankly, as a result of some of the social media that's gone viral with deportations of parents, families are up in arms. There is fear and there are rumors about ICE raids that are likely to follow in Sacramento and other areas. And so we have to do everything we can to help assuage those concerns, to continue to promote an environment of tolerance and acceptance to our students, but moreover, noting that this is also a legal battle that's going to be waged, connecting our families to the legal services that they're going to need. They should not have to navigate these waters alone.
Along with you mentioned a little bit about the bullying and trying to avoid the hate mongering. Have you guys seen any instances of more bullying because of this, or?
So absolutely, and once again, if you want to jump in and share, at my daughter's own school, so I have two adopted children who are Puerto Rican and Jamaican, and my daughter almost immediately following the presidential campaigns and the increased rhetoric started hearing hate speech around the fact that she was black. Beyond that, I've heard, not just at my daughter's school site, but at other school sites, of increases in, bullying that we haven't seen in years past. We have a dedicated, full-time bullying prevention specialist in Sac City Unified. We're one of the only school districts in the state that actually has that. So we do have first responders, but we're hearing things like students telling other students, you need to go home. Now, when you're telling a student based upon the color of their skin or their ethnicity that they have to go home, the effects of that are far beyond the hurt that one student feels. Other students also see a student making that statement, and frankly, I think it becomes more of a norm than we've seen in years past. And so fortunately, we have principals and teachers who are saying that is unacceptable, and we have to celebrate the diversity that each of us bring, and bullying on our school sites will not be tolerated in any shape or form.
Can somebody speak to the actual immigration issue itself? I mean, these seems to be symptoms of a national policy, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, that's what the policy is, and this is what we have. So, how soon until we start looking at addressing, immigration policy instead of the effects of what the policy is, and whoever happens to be in the White House?
So we will come back to that question in 1 second, but first I'm going to let Elizabeth share a bit about what she's been seeing in response to the two previous questions firsthand on the school site and in the classroom.
As I mentioned before, due to the circumstances of the election, we have been empowering students by providing information. There is no way for any one of us in the district to know who's documented, dreamer or not. Okay? There is only one way to know, and I have said it before, is trust. As a teacher and as an educator and any other partnerships that we have, it's very important to establish human relationships based on trust. And based on that, I have had different circumstances, experiences, where the students have come to me, Maestra, is it true that ICE is going to be after school here today? Can you call? Maestra, my brother has been deported. And there was one circumstance a week and a half ago. One of my students, because this goes beyond any skin color, she was African American and she was in my class, she was crying. And I pulled her outside and said, is everything okay? Maestra, my best friend has been deported. Okay? There is no way for me to know as a teacher if it was legal circumstances. Okay? But I'm saying that we need to empower our families. We need to empower students, providing the right information, providing the right resources that they need. in order to make decisions, in order to know how to defend themselves and to use those tools. And we at Luther Burbank, we've been working really hard to enhance the community that we have and also to provide the best resources that we have. So it's not just me. It's a whole community behind me, being able to find those, for the students to create the trust with me, with all of us. And I know the last week, I was able to take a group of high school students from here to Sac State to empower them with their higher education to know their rights. And I only have a specific amount of numbers as available spaces. And I have to say no to more than 15 students. And even though they were saying, Maestra, I'm undocumented. Maestra, can I go? But I didn't have the resources at that moment. I said, I'm sorry, you cannot go this time. Okay? So once again, when we speak about the need, this is what we're saying. This is what I'm talking about. Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to address the question about immigration policy that you were referring to. Sacramento City Unified School District is a school district. Our responsibility is for the education of our children. So with respect to federal policy, I believe that federal policy is ever changing. We are dealing with the policy on immigration that is before us today, and rather than what the future policy of immigration for the United States might be, I think number one, we'll have to be vigilant so that we know, be best educated so that we can further educate our children and make sure that this continues, Sac City Unified continues to be the safe haven that we have adopted it to be today.
Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate it. So at this time, we are going to ask that the media request direct any additional questions to us individually, and we're going to go ahead and move outside to sign the Safe Haven Pledge, one of 50,000 pledges that will be distributed with students, parents, community members, and educators across the district. We hope to create mosaics of these pledges as reminders of our commitment to serve and protect our students at every school site in Sac City Unified.
Jesse, let's sign it here and then move out for additional questions so the class can. Yeah, all sign the same.
Not on the same line, though.
Anywhere.